Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers potentially trading for Charlotte Hornets center Nick Richards, as was reported on Bleacher Report that the Lakers have interest in trading for Nick Richards. A couple weeks ago, it was reported that the Lakers were in the trade market looking for a center, and now a specific center has been mentioned. This is not the first time the Hornets have been mentioned to be potentially trading Nick Richards. They were linked with the Knicks as a potential trade partner. Obviously, we know what happened with the Knicks. They ended up trading for Karl-Anthony Towns, but before they traded for Cat, they were really looking at Nick Richards. It would have been a lot cheaper, but Dante DiVincenzo, probably both Dante and Julius Randle would most likely still be in New York if they trade for Richards instead of Cat, but that didn't happen. Karl-Anthony Towns is in New York, but now, as Richards could potentially be traded, the Lakers are a team that have been reported to be interested. Now, here's the potential trade I have come up with. So salary works. You trade Cam Reddish and Christian Wood over to the Hornets with a 2025 second-round pick via the Clippers, and you get Nick Richards. Why do you have to give up that much? I mean, Reddish and Wood are solid players. I like them, but Richards had way better stats than them last season. Also, here's another thing that's important. Both Reddish and Wood are expiring contracts. Meanwhile, not only would the Lakers have Nick Richards' contract for this season, but they'd also have him and retain him for the next season in the 2025 to 2026 season. So that is very important as well in the trade detail. So I think Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, and his second gets it done for Nick Richards. Now, Nick Richards, 67 games last season, 51 starts, 26 minutes per game, 69% from the floor, doesn't shoot threes at all, so he's not going to bring that in. 10 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 1 assist per game, half a steal per game, over 1 block per game. I'm going to talk about something comparing last year's Lakers team to the 2020 Lakers team. Now, it's been reported, obviously, that the Lakers want to add in a center to help and make things easier for LeBron and AD. And what this made me think of was honestly the differences of the 2020 Los Angeles Lakers team that won a championship. And I don't want to hear Mickey Mouse this, Mickey Mouse that. Lakers won in the bubble. Here's the thing. Before the bubble, the Lakers were the best team in the Western Conference. Things were working out for the Lakers. I don't know if the Lakers still win a championship that year if everything doesn't happen with the virus and they don't they play the full 82 game season instead of only playing about 70 games, and you have your playoff games actually at home, your home arena, and you have your road arena games. I don't know if the Lakers would have won a championship, but I think they would have been the favorite, and I think they probably still end up winning the championship that year, just because of how motivated that team was. The Lakers were always a good team that year. They were always a great team. LeBron and AD had a good thing going. They had great guys around them, but it wasn't just the fact that it wasn't just the fact that they were a good team and they were playing great basketball. It was also the fact that, let's be honest, after Kobe Bryant died, this team was motivated to win a championship for Kobe Bryant. Now, I think and I said this in 2020 as well, when Kobe died, I said, okay, that's it. The Lakers are winning the NBA Finals. Just because of the fact that this team has motivation now to go win this thing for him. And, that happened. Now, since that championship, the Lakers have not had a lot of success. We've seen a couple, we saw the Western Conference Final run in 2023, but obviously we know how that ended, getting swept against Denver this past season, eliminated in the first round. One of the seasons, just season by season since the championship. The first season after the championship, they lost in the first round of the Suns. The next one, they didn't even make it to the play-in. The next year was the year they were able to make it to the Western Conference Finals but got swept. Then last year, Denver lost in 5 games in the first round. So I look at two things. I look at two things for that Lakers 2020 team compared to the Lakers team from last season. Not the Lakers team now, but just from the Lakers team last season, or the Lakers team from the Lakers teams from the last couple years. And I ultimately think two things that are very different from the 2020 team to last year's team. Starting off with one thing that has nothing to do with the center position or Nick Richards is 3-point shooting for me. The Lakers had so many good 3-point shooters, so many good catch and shoot guys that LeBron James and Anthony Davis had to get the basketball to on double teams. If there was attention on LeBron or AD, you had so many good shooters to get the basketball to if there was a double. So there were a lot of great shooters on that team. It's not saying that there aren't good shooters on the Lakers team last year or the Lakers current team, but not nearly as much as there was. Not nearly as much as there was in 2020. Just to name a couple, I mean, you had guys like Avery Bradley, Danny Green, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, and Alex Caruso in the regular season who absolutely killed it from three. Those were guys who were doing a great job. Then you have guys like Jared Dudley, who shot over 40% from three for the Lakers in the regular season. Rajon Rondo shot 42% from three for the Lakers in the postseason run. Markieff Morris shot over 40% from three for the Lakers in the postseason run. Kyle Kuzma was pretty solid from three during that whole season. So those are 8 guys right there who were effective for the Lakers shooting. And I look at the team from last year, and you can go over the team now, and I only see really 5 guys. Then that's comparing 5 players who can do that type of stuff for the Lakers. Who can do that stuff for the Lakers compared to 8 in 2020. I mean, you got Austin Reeves, you got D'Angelo Russell, you got Rui Hachimura, you have Max Christie, you have Taurean Prince. Keep in mind, just going over last team's Taurean Prince is now in Milwaukee, so he doesn't count anymore. So just Reeves, just D'Lo, just Rui, and just Max Christie. And also, you could include Gabe Vincent, but I think he's a big maybe just because of the fact that he came into LA last year, shot 10% from three, was one of the worst poor 3-point shooters in the NBA last season, and one of the biggest reasons they added him in was because of his shooting during the playoff run for the Miami Heat. So if they can get that back from Gabe Vincent, that's going to be great for the Lakers. But this offseason, that's why I love so much of them bringing in Dalton Knecht and them drafting Dalton Knecht, was to add in another catch and shooter. It's I don't think it's even close, but I think having guys like Austin Reeves and Dalton Knecht, it's kind of like with the 2020 team having the spread out of great catch and shoot corner 3-point shooters like KCP, Danny Green, Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso, Markieff Morris, Jared Dudley. But having Dalton Knecht now, and also still having Austin Reeves, and you have D'Lo, who's doesn't really shoot in the corner a lot, but still Rui is a guy who shoots in the corner a lot. So there are some guys, but just not as much as there was in 2020. There was a lot of depth in great 3-point shooters, and really there's around 4 or 5 guys. I mean, you got Dalton Knecht, you got Rui, you got Austin Reeves. D'Lo's a great 3-point shooter, but he can be inconsistent sometimes. And then I think the big maybe one is Gabe Vincent, just because of the fact that he was so terrible last year. But it's not as much as it was the season before, and that's why I love them bringing in Dalton Knecht, is to add to that 3-point shooting, to add good shooters around LeBron and AD when there are doubles, just like we saw in 2020. And getting into that second part of what I feel like is very different from the 2020 team compared to last year's team or this year's team is that the depth of the center position next to LeBron and AD. Like, that Lakers team had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, and those two guys were absolutely amazing with rebounding, defense, getting blocks. Big part of the Lakers championship run. You can look at the shooters like Avery Bradley, Danny Green, and KCP, and Caruso and Morris, who were very effective. But then you could also look at the rebounding defensive part of things and a little bit offensively, with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard being big parts of the Lakers' postseason and regular season run, being the first seed in the Western Conference and winning the championship. So those guys were huge for this team. I like Jackson Hayes. I like Christian Wood. I think both are very solid centers, but they are not effective as much as JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard were in the 2019-20 season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Not at all. They're good. They're good. They can do good things for this Lakers team for sure. Of course, I don't know if you'll see anybody say that they can't, but they do not have what that Lakers team in 2020 had with Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. Not at all. And I think that's why I like this team potentially bringing in Nick Richards so much, is because that is kind of like having your new Dwight Howard or your new JaVale McGee. And I don't think the Lakers have really had a great center. Off the top of my head, I don't think the Lakers have really had a great center since that 2019-20 season next to AD and LeBron. I don't think they've had one that is good. Good since since McGee and Dwight Howard have been gone. I mean, they've tried. I mean, Andre Drummond was there for a little bit, and he was pretty solid, but he wasn't there for long enough. So I guess Andre Drummond, fits the credential, but he wasn't there for long enough. They've tried to go out there and get some guys. I mean, they were very interested in Jonas Valanciunas in free agency. They were having trade talks with the Bucks for Brook Lopez, so they want to go get a center really bad. That's why they're interested in Nick Richards now. But I think two things for me, and as I've already mentioned, the difference in 2020 to last year's team or this year's team is that the 3-point shooting has changed. There's still good 3-point shooters on this Lakers team, but not the same amount of good 3-point shooters. Like the depth has gone down in good 3-point shooters for this Lakers team. And, having elite centers next to AD and LeBron has changed as well. And going into last year to this year, they've already kind of started to work on one of those issues, adding in Dalton Knecht at the drafting him. And if they could work on another one of those issues and adding in Nick Richards and get a center next to AD, I think it'd be great for this Lakers team. And you're going to see them have a lot more success than people are saying they're going to have right now. Like right now, this team, I think because of LeBron and AD, they're still a playing team. I think they're probably, to me, if they can close out ball games and stay healthy, I think they're in the area of the 6 to 9 seed. I mean, things are so tight in the West that one night you can be the 10 seed and you could get a win and a handful of teams could lose and then you go to the 5 seed. The West is that tight always. So it's so hard to predict where a team's going to be at just because of that. Like, it's easier to predict what's going to happen in the East and it's going to happen in the West. So I really think the Lakers could be anywhere in the 10 to the 5 seed. I don't think the Lakers will be a top 4 or top 5 seed, but I think more reasonable the Lakers are going to be in anywhere the 10 to 6. But I think if the Lakers want to be a top 5 team in the West, you got to start off by bringing in a center, whether that's a trade deadline deal, bringing in Jonas Valanciunas, or it's a trade now for Nick Richards. So I think making additions like Dalton Knecht though in the draft and potentially Nick Richards is kind of bringing back what was successful for you all the way back in 2020, winning a championship. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that JJ Redick is potentially thinking about that. If I'm able to notice, and a lot of people are able to notice that those two things have changed since 2020, since the Lakers won the championship. Of course, JJ knows it as well, and That's why they drafted Dalton Knecht. If they didn't feel like they needed to bring in more good shooters around LeBron and AD, they would have drafted someone else. They would have drafted a center instead of Dalton Knecht. And I'm confident, I'm sure, whether it's now before the season starts or the beginning of the season or it's at the trade deadline, the Lakers will trade for a center, whether it's Nick Richards or it's Jonas Valanciunas or it's someone else. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade in the comment section, and peace out.